This beast is too big, and this beast is too small. Hasbro, is it too early to ask for another beast? You know you want to. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Today, let's take a quick look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Orb, Wonder Man, and Molecule Man. Why just these three from the wave? Because these are the ones I wanted most from the wave. Don't get me wrong, I want to build Puff Adder, add him to the Serpent Society. And I do have a place for Baron von Strucker, and I kinda like that Black Widow. Ultimate Captain America looks okay. And then there's also Extremis Iron Man, who's not listed on here at all. I miss the little headshots on the back. I don't miss the window because I order these online. It's not like I'm checking them out before I buy them. But to not have the rest of the wave visually anywhere, that's kind of weird. But I'll pick those up at a later time. Well, do I need another Iron Man? I don't know. I'll wait for a price go down maybe, or a dry spell. I don't have any Marvel Legends to buy, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I will finish Puff Adder. Looking at the packages, you have renders of the characters on the front, some nice artwork on the side. Go back to the renders on the back with what pieces of Puff Adder they come with, and then their accessories. Warning, small parts. Don't be putting toys in your mouth hole. On the other side, there's the parts breakdown for Puff Adder. On top, the Avengers logo. On bottom, not legalese. Let's get the orb open first. He's my least wanted of my most wanteds. Does that make sense? Let's get you out of your car seat, buddy. Is the gun in with the Build-A-Figure? Yes, it is. Oh God, they have reused the Bucky Cat body once again. It's an absolute slap in the face. This is the orb, and yes, there's new body types coming out all the time, but it's the orb. Half the crowd goes, body reuse. The other half goes, who the hell is the orb? I'm just happy to have another Ghost Rider villain on the shelf because whoever expected the orb? Yeah, the body's outdated. Yeah, it has pins, but it's an action figure. And being who it is, I am completely good with this. In his Evel Knievel type gear. Remember these feet and these cuffs and these cuffs? Just all in bright white. The belt and the pouches are all cast in white, and then it has some blue just to poke the belt itself through. And then the gloves have blue stripes across the top with itty bitty stars. 2 stripes to the chest, again with white stars going all the way. Well, okay, there's no stars on the bag, but there's the blue stripe at least. Here's the focal point, right? This is what draws your eye. You need some Visine. The eye detail itself is painted so nicely. Look at the little striations in the light blue going out to a darker blue. The black right there in the middle, the way the light reflects off of it. My brain is screaming that this should be a full orb, perfectly round, and then I remember, oh, physics. It could be round, but then it would be just a little itty-bitty stick for a neck. Or the neck would come up, and then you'd have to place this just on the top. In order for this to look natural like it does in the made-up comic books, that has to be cut off and then sunk in down around the neck. I'm just realizing that the collar itself is a separate piece. I guess you could, oh, I was hoping it would do that. In case you want to use that collar for a custom or you don't like it or something, you can just leave that on there and it's like a skin tight. Well, okay, that looks kind of odd. It does draw attention to the flatness under there. The collar helps transition from shoulders to eyeball. Overall, it does exactly what it sets out to do. It's a crazy villain from back in the day. Before he apparently got a hold of Uatu's eye and became really super powerful or something. Going over articulation like I just showed, there is a ball at the top of the neck, literally. Then there's a hinge under that. Collar gets in the way from looking up, but can look down. Still not a lot of tilt. They would have had to cut out more under there in order to get some side to side, but can look this side to side. I'm going over the articulation in the Bucky Cat body, but real quick, pin out to the shoulder, rotates all the way around, hinges out, swivel at the bicep, double elbow, but the glove cuff does get in the way. Rotation at the wrist with some hinge in and out. I always forget just how super crunchy the abs are on the Bucky Cat body, but then there's also arc back, opens up the garage, but who arcs back that far? Swivel at the waist, ball coming out to the hip, does this better than some of the modern figures. Swivel at the thigh, double knee goes back, cuff gets in the way there too. Swivel at the top of the boot, hinge at the ankle goes back, forward facing pin for rocker. For accessories comes with his bubble gun, his eyeball gun, his super soaker, his industrial strength hair dryer. I don't know what the hell it is. It's the orb. He's got an eyeball for a head. That looks super kick-ass though. Doesn't come with a vehicle, so we got to make do with existing vehicles. Well, okay. maybe not this one. He looks pretty damn smooth here, but no. This is probably what I'm going to give him. This is the motorcycle from the Riders Logan pack. The blue kind of ties into the stripes on the costume, and it's clean. There's no fire flying off of it. And it pairs up nicely with the, well, okay, that's the Hasbro Riders Ghost Rider with the Toy Biz motorcycle. I feel like that's a bit more classic-y. Smallish, but I don't know. You get them side by side. They don't look bad. Next, we'll break open Molecule Man. And for him, we do get new body parts. There's your pinless limbs that we first saw with Red Skull and Dormammu. Very wrinkly, a lot of sculpt to them. So much sculpt that they even put it on the center of the double elbow. And it's the same thing at the legs. Well, a little smooth up top, working down to some bunchiness up above the boots. I'm just now realizing I really like the purple used here. Boots carry on that aesthetic, very clean, have some wrinkles around the ankles. Comparing to that Red Skull, there's a new torso, there's a new lower tunic, and then of course there's a new head. Because Molecule Man isn't all red and scully. Kind of look like they're about to sing a duet. The sculpt and the color of the lightning belt going around is so crisp because it's a separate piece glued on top of the lower tunic. That carries all the way around, while the green part just fits right in with, guess what, wrinkles and bunchiness. Same thing at the torso. In fact, you would think that this was originally made for this, and who knows when things are sculpted, but it looks great. It fits together. The upper torso lightning design is also an overlay, making for some nice edges, but then down on the abs, that's sculpted on and painted, and it's a little rough in places. Then it gets smooth in between with some muscle definition. It almost makes me think that that should have been skin tone. This is an old character. You know how those costumes were. But there is a collar piece to say, hey, this is a shirt, this is a costume, knock it off. I usually think of this character as a little bit more sad, a little bit more like he was thrown into a situation he didn't really want to be in. But that may be going way back because I believe I only read him in Secret Wars. You have that kind of flowing up and out hair, but not overly done. It doesn't stand out as an unrealistic hairdo. This is more of a head out the window type situation. But then there's the dark, dark lips that we've been seeing lately. Again, you get away from it and it's not as noticeable, but you can definitely zero in on the lips. There they are. Mwah. For articulation, oh, okay. We got a dumbbell at the top. I'm assuming a ball down at the bottom because you can see the Adam's apple is turned to the side. There we go. Can look up, down a bit. Nice tilt. Side to side. Pin coming out to the shoulder, goes around, and yes, while that is soft, you can see it flexing a bit. It's not going to get out of the way, so you got to kind of angle the arm out. And that's possible because of a hinge at the shoulder. So we'll let the bicep, double elbow, comes all the way up, but you have that break 'em up effect. It becomes very disjointed. Looks great in neutral position though. So we'll let the wrist with a hinge in and out. Forward crunchticles, arc backiness, goes back further than it goes forward. So we'll let the waist. The lower tunic is also a rubbery plastic that's going to flex up and out of the way of the leg coming to here. Back a little, out. Oh, see, it's better on the Bucky Cat body, huh? So we'll let the thigh, beautiful hidden. That tunic is just barely long enough to cover it up. Double knee, no problem kicking the molecule out of his there. Swivel at the boot, hinge at the ankle, hinge at the ankle, hinge at the ankle. Very, very tight. Goes forward, forward facing pin for rocker. For accessories in the package, he comes with these open clawed hands. Those pop out easy. And you can swap in fists because Molecule Man is known for fisticuffs. The fists are actually there to accommodate these power effects. These are reuse and they're meant to go over clenched hands. Just a nice physical representation of his power. Nothing wrong with that at all. Plus the color they used is beautiful. It matches nicely with the rest of the costume. And then there is Simon in not one of his best costumes, but definitely not one of his worst either. Ooh, tiny little accessories. You want to watch out for that when you're messing with these tissue bags. Make sure everything's out of there. Not the most superhero-ish of costumes, but it is unmistakably Wonder Man. It's Hollywoodish, and he's an actor, so it fits. Again, using limbs from Red Skull, making it pinless if that's your thing. And that works great for the jacket. It's bunched up, it looks like he's wearing something over clothing. Down at the legs is what people have complaints about, because in this costume, most of the time, he was wearing fairly skin-tight pants. It would show some bunchiness above the boot sometimes, but for the most part, it shouldn't have used these legs. Me being me, though, I don't mind it. I have other problems with this body. Have the same boots as we saw with Red Skull. Oh, and Molecule Man just a minute ago. I'm not sure if the bracers are reuse. They seem familiar, but they work here. The new parts are fairly obvious. You have the new torso overlay, that bottom of the jacket piece, and then the head. I've already been schooled about the double zipper. Apparently that's a thing now. You can zip it up, but then you can unzip it up too to keep your core warm while giving you more mobility at the hips, or the ability to reach into your pants pockets, whatever. As far as the other details on the overlay, you have the pockets with the double flaps, have the collar sculpted on, and then a seam running down the middle of the back. The torso underneath has a blue turtleneck, and that brings us to the head. He's got the debonair hair, he's got the red glasses, he's got that $1 million smile. The glasses are a separate piece, but they're glued down. They don't even flop up off the nose. If you get up close, you can see that he has those red eyes underneath with no pupils, no detail. But like I said, I do have a problem with this. Two problems. And one may just be mine, but you can see a gap at the boot there. I may put some heat to that, see if I can fix that. My big problem that I can't fix is the low shoulders. Is it the overlay throwing me off? Well, no, his chin comes to here and then up to here. It gives me later Toy Biz Marvel Legends vibes. Remember when they started mounting the shoulder low? It's something that I've encountered before. Therefore, I'm focused on that now. I really want to cut this off and see what's under there. I griped. That's all I can do. Going over articulation, they did not give that bottom neck articulation to this new torso. I guess because of that turtleneck. But there is still a dumbbell joint at the top. A little up, got the hair coming down in the back. Not a lot of down either. Lots of tilt though. Pin coming out to the shoulder allows for the arm to go all the way around with some hinge up to here. Swivel at the bicep with a rubbery pin. Double elbow, just like Molecule Man, comes all the way up with some floaty elbow. Swivel at the wrist, rotates in and out. I think there is a hinge at the abs because I look down there and I can see the pants and I think that's just a straight cut across. I am seeing some wrinkles to the shirt under there though. But with everything going on there, you can get a little forward and a little back. There's not a lot of movement. Swivel side to side. The lower jacket is unzipped, so the ball going out to the leg goes up to here. Back, out. There's no split on the side. So again, swivel at the thigh, and the bottom of the jacket just happens to come down to that exact point. Double knee, but interesting enough, if you just use the top, it goes to here. Then you can go on to the rest of it. Hinge at the ankle. Oh, okay. It's not quite as tight as Molecule Man. Goes back to there, goes forward there, front-facing pin for rocker. For accessories, the hands do pop out, but be careful because when you pull the hand, this becomes loose. Don't let the carpet monster get a hold of that. Did I see in the package there's two fists? Because there's two fists. And you can swap those out with the same open clawed hands we got with Molecule Man. In fact, I had put them side by side, so I had to look at it several times to realize that the skin tone is just slightly different. Molecule Man is a bit paler. Then there are two of these little itty-bitty blast effects. Those plug into the rocket boosters on the side of the belt. And the pegs are even offset and angled a bit to fit around the lower part of the jacket. They pretty much disappear at a distance. You have to get right up on it to realize, oh, that's how he's flying. They are all right around or slightly under 6.5 inches tall. The orb looks wonderfully wacky next to Ghost Rider. Molecule Man is larger than I expected. He looks formidable next to Doom and downright huge next to Mr. Fantastic. But that could be offset by an in-scale Volcana. Come on, Hasbro. This is the one I was worried about though, because pictures I had seen made this Wonder Man look small, but he's just as big as the previous Wonder Man, or one of the previous Wonder Mans. This is my costume for Simon, so this is what I have on the shelf. It comes down to head size though, and that's the great ongoing debate. This looks better to my eye only because I only look at action figures. When it comes to real people, I don't know which one's more correct. Well, okay, they match up height-wise, but now that I have them side by side, woo, the shoulders do a lot for the superhero costume Wonder Man. Maybe Safari Jacket needs some bulkier shoulders? Simon is 6'2", Steve is 6'2". This works. Oh, and I just realized I grabbed the Mofex Iron Man. But this is where I'll probably have this displayed. Yes, we do need a new vision simply for more bulk, but this works. This is a good looking display. So at the end of the day, not my most wanted characters, but some nice classic offerings for my display. And I think that's what it comes down to. I've said many a time in the past 1.5 to 2 years that I'm going to focus mostly on X-Men, but old school characters have made their way back onto my want list, no matter where they're from, Avengers or Fantastic Four, whatever. Because I see these revealed and I go, man, that reminds me of childhood. I remember Secret Wars, or I remember the handbooks, or Ghost Rider back in the day. Little nostalgia tugs. Now, I do have a couple of gripes, right? The Molecule Man seems large Wonder Man's shoulders are low. And then say what you may. I have nothing against replacing the Bucky Cap body. It's just that these things take time. They're introducing new bodies as we go, but it's not just a change like that. They can't call the factory and go, yeah, throw out all that tooling and make all new tooling for a new body for all these new characters. That's just where we're at. They're slowly phasing it out, but for characters like the Orb, then yeah, it's not that big a deal. Unless you're an Orb super fan who wanted the latest and greatest for that body type. But me, it's the Orb. I have him on the shelf now. I got him on a cool motorcycle. He looks great for who he is. I'm happy.